Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar for this month, the month of September. It promises to be very interesting. And as you can see from the slide, the webinar is aptly titled, or the focus for our webinar this month is COVID-19 Vaccine, the myths versus the facts. Definitely, it is in the front burner. It's a topic that is in the front burner, and a lot of controversies surrounding that topic, especially the vaccine. Now, let's go through the agenda for this webinar. For the webinar today, we'll be starting with our safety moment, which is the first aid for convulsive seizures. First aid for convulsive seizures. Then we'll talk about the LiHSEIF mission and vision. We'll also talk about the various specialties we have. Stock of the number of persons that are attending the webinar. And this webinar is also being recorded. So I'll be sharing my slide again to take into consideration what we'll be discussing this evening. We are going through the agenda. The main topic for this webinar is COVID-19 vaccine, the myths versus the facts. And then we'll have a question and comments. You have the opportunity to ask our guests, the speakers, questions that might not have been covered during the topic. Then we'll give our words. We also have the HSE campaign for September 2021. Okay. We'll be going to the next part of webinar. Please, as you are joining, we would like you to use the chat facility to introduce yourself. You can see the example on the slide. Who invited you, for instance? I'm Usman Ayodeji Chuku. I was invited by Aisha Sumbo Okeke. So you could put that in the chat so that we would be able to take consideration of that. Some persons will also be given the opportunity to win awards for that category. For our safety moment, the topic for our safety moment is first aid for convulsive seizures. Many of us would have seen cases where people have this experience, maybe due to high blood pressure, sometimes due to other illness, that they will face or have convulsive seizures. And what are we supposed to do in such cases? We'll be watching a video. I want us to pay attention to the video. Thereafter, there will be a question. The fastest finger, as usual, will win a prize for that. So let's take a look at the video.
In this video, you will learn to administer first aid to a person suffering a seizure. During the seizure, do not try to move them unless they are in danger. Remove any objects around them which may cause harm. Do not restrain their movements, but protect them from injury by cushioning them. Do not put anything in their mouth. They will not swallow their tongue. After the seizure, if the patient is unconscious, tilt their head back to ensure that their airways are clear and check their breathing. Place them on the side in the recovery position. Make sure that they're breathing properly. Stay with them until they have fully regained consciousness. This could take several minutes. Call the emergency services and tell them if the seizure has lasted more than 5 minutes or there have been more than one. The patient is a child. The patient has not regained consciousness. The patient has never had a seizure before.
So that's the video. Now let's look at the question associated with that safety moment. Remember, fastest finger. The question is, the following are what you need to do during a seizure, except the following are what you need to do during a seizure, except you have the options A to E. You have the opportunity to answer the first question. So with that, we move to the next section. Now, the next section are special days in September. We have the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer, which was on the 16th, that has passed. The 26th, which is still ahead, the World Maritime Day. 29th, the World Heart Day, and the 21st, which has also passed, the Peace Day, or the World Peace Day. Now for October, we have the following special days. Nigerians Independence Day, which is October 1st, still ahead, will soon be here. Then the International Day of Older Persons is also on October 1st. The World Vegetarian Day is also on October 1st. The World Animal Day is on October 4th. And the World Teachers Day for all our teachers is the 5th of October. Then the World Mental Health Day is on the 10th of October. Know that you are taking note of all these days. The International Day of the Girl Child is the 11th of October. Please put that in your calendar. And the World Arthritis Day is the 12th of October. The Global Hand Washing Day, especially as the pandemic continues, is on the 15th of October. And the World Trauma Day is on the 17th of October. Then the United Nations Day is on the 24th of October. Then the World Stroke Day is on the 29th of October. So these are the special days in October. No doubt you want to take this into your calendar. Now, the mission and vision of LiHSEIF. Now, our vision as an organization is make leadership, health, safety, and environment activities an indispensable necessity in human existence. Then our mission is to involve and engage highly enthusiastic, selfless, and professional personalities through methodological research approaches to effect all HLC and leadership set goals. Then our aims and objectives: to connect with us as many selfless and highly passionate individuals that see the need to leave a positive legacy in leadership, health, safety, and environment in our society. Then our slogan is leading for legacy. If you are just joining us, you will definitely see a poll requesting for your attendance. The attendance is for us to for us to be able to take note of those who have attended this webinar, ranging from 1 to 10. It could be one person, it could be more. Just enter the poll. Thank you for doing that. Now for the main topic, which is the COVID-19 vaccine, the myths versus the facts. I'm going to be anchoring this particular aspect of the webinar. I'll be joined by two speakers. Trying to see that they are here. Okay. Permit me to add them. Okay. Okay, so I have my two guests. Now, the first guest I have is Mr. Nuate Faith. Welcome, Mr. Nuate Faith, to this webinar.
Thank you, sir. And good evening to esteemed members and professionals in the house.
Okay, let me introduce Mr. Nuate Faith. Mr. Nuate Faith is the Managing Director of Didom Consult Limited. He was also a former lead trainer and branch director of Nobel Center, Southwest, with over 9 years of field experience on ISO and occupational health and safety trainings with lots of other professional certifications. So once again, welcome, Mr. Nuate.
Thank you.
I also have Ms. Temitope Teller. Ms. Temitope Teller is a pharmacist and also the co-founder of LiHSEIF Leadership in HSE International Forum. Please welcome Ms. Temitope Teller.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So the three of us will be discussing this very beautiful topic. Let me put it that way: the COVID-19 vaccine, the myth versus the facts. Now, I'll be asking our guest speakers various questions on the various myths that is spreading all around, and they will be giving us their professional answers. Now, I'll be directing the first question to Mr. Nuate. I hope Mr. Nuate.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yes. Now, the first myth, it's one that filled the social media space with a lot of controversy. The first myth is that the COVID-19 vaccine can affect women's fertility.
Yeah.
That it affects the women's fertility. How true is that, please?
Okay, and thank you very much, moderator, and good evening, my co-panelists. Good evening, our viewers. It's an interesting topic when we tend to see the trends on social media to women, mothers, and also prospective mothers. Now, the truth and the fact is COVID-19 vaccine cannot affect a woman's fertility. Now, the vaccine will not affect fertility, and the vaccine encourages body to create copies of the spike protein that is found on the coronavirus surface. Now, this teaches the body's immune system to fight the virus that has specific spike protein on it. Though there are confusion which arose when false reports surfaced on social media saying that the spike protein on this coronavirus was the same as another spike protein called cysteine-1. Now, that is involved in the growth and also the attachment of the placenta during pregnancy. Now, this false report also states that getting the COVID-19 vaccine will also cause a woman's body to fight this different spike protein and affect her fertility, which is obviously not true. Now, these two spike proteins are completely different and distinct. Now, and getting the COVID vaccine will not affect the fertility of a woman, not at all, who is seeking to be pregnant or including through in vitro fertilization method. Now, during the Pfizer vaccine test, we had 23 women who volunteered to avail themselves to carry out this test to prove this myth wrong. Now, out of these 23 women who volunteered, now the study shows that 22 out of these 23 came out perfectly well. Just one person suffered a pregnancy loss, and this person had not had the actual vaccine, but just a placebo. Now, getting COVID-19 or the vaccine, on the other hand, can have potentially serious impact on pregnancy and the mother's health if you contract COVID-19. But though we advise that if you need to learn more about coronavirus and pregnancy, we have Johns Hopkins Medicine who encourages women to reach out to their medical providers to discuss other questions that they may have about COVID-19 as it relates to fertility or pregnancy. And also to interest you to know that we also have some underlying factors that could prompt effects in the course of fertility of a woman that is not COVID-19 caused, or it's not majorly the underlying factor as a result of the COVID-19 vaccine. So we encourage you, please take the advice, especially from Johns Hopkins Medicine, who encourages always discuss with your doctor. You might be suffering from other illness and not from your intake of the vaccine. So that myth is actually not true. It does not affect the fertility of women.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwati. That was a beautiful analysis of that so-called myth. The fact has been given, you have seen it. Now, the second myth, I'll be directing it to Ms. Teller. Now, someone might say, if I already had COVID-19, I don't need the vaccine. If I've already had the COVID-19, there's no need for me to be giving the vaccine. Ms. Teller?
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So people who have gotten the COVID-19 vaccine already may still benefit from it. A lot of persons have underlying conditions, a lot of health risk associated with COVID-19. And we want to know that currently, the information available does not say for how long we are protected from getting COVID-19 after we've had it before and being treated. So we want to take caution. And there are studies presently that have been undergone, that's early studies, which shows that if you have had the COVID-19 vaccine previously, it does not prevent you or stop you from getting reinfected. So we want to try as much as possible, to take care of ourselves if we already have the COVID-19.
Thank you very much, Ms. Temitope Teller. That was a beautiful answer to that myth. So you still need the vaccine. You still need to protect yourself, even if you have been given the vaccine. Now, another myth that I'm going to be directing to Mr. Nwati is the fact that some have said that the way and manner that the vaccine came out, that it was rushed, that researchers rushed to the development of this vaccine. So the vaccine is not effective and the safety cannot be trusted. How true is that, Mr. Nwati?
Indeed, we all had this notion when there is a problem and it looks like there was a sudden solution to that problem, it always raises concern, the authenticity of the solution for that problem. Now, studies also found that the two initial vaccines are both about 95% effective and reported no serious or life-threatening side effects. Now, there are many reasons why the COVID-19 vaccines could be developed so quickly. Now, let me just give you a few. Now, the COVID-19 vaccines from Pfizer and also the BioNTech and Moderna were created with a method that has been in development for years. Now, so the companies could start the vaccine development process early in the pandemic. And you should also know the devastating effects of the COVID obviously was something that had to bring all hands on deck, because it was now a global challenge, not even a national or a state challenge. Now, China isolated and shared the genetic information about COVID-19 promptly when the outbreak occurred. Now, so scientists could start working on the vaccine immediately. Now, the vaccine developers didn't skip any testing steps, not at all, but rather they conducted some of these steps on an overlapping schedule just to gather their information and their data fast. Now, vaccine projects have plenty of resources as government invested in research and also paid for vaccines in advance. Now, some types of COVID-19 vaccines were created using the messenger RNA, now which allows a faster approach than the traditional way that vaccines are being made. So the social media also helped companies to find and engage study volunteers, and many are willing to help with COVID-19 vaccines research. Now, you agree with me that if you were one of those persons out there who had one or two to contribute in providing solutions to the global challenge or the global pandemic, obviously you will not relent. So you want to see a solution as fast as possible. Now, companies began also making vaccines early in the process, even before the FDA authorization. So some supplies were ready when authorization occurred. And you agree with me that even while some nations were still thinking of having the COVID-19 in their own nation, they were already started ordering for the vaccine just to be on the safe side. So it wasn't rushed. So that means of if it were to be rushed in the development, it's not. All processes were duly followed according to the chemistry in the production of vaccines.
Wow, wow, that is absolutely beautiful. So the speed, or if you think it was rushed, the vaccine can be trusted, as our speaker has aptly explained. Now, for our viewers, it's time for us to take our first quiz in this part. Mr. Nwate will be asking that question. I will share the screen. Mr. Nwate, the 2.
Oh, lovely. I want to believe they've been paying good attention to our presentation. Okay, quickly, I just want to ask. Now, the COVID-19 vaccine, they have serious issues and impact on the following type of women. Option A, we have the pregnant women. B, we have the business women. C, we have the market women. And D, we have the nurses.
So you have had the question, fastest finger. Please go to the chat and put in your answers. Our panelists, our quiz panelists are collating the answers. Thank you. So we'll go ahead. Now, I still have more myths. The fourth myth that I'm going to be directing to Ms. Stella is this one, which some have even challenged some of us that put on the masks, that after I've gotten the COVID-19 vaccine, it means that I can stop wearing my mask. I can start doing anyhow. I don't need to take any of the coronavirus precautions like washing my hands or maintaining social distance. How true is this, Mr. Mitope?
I have also seen a lot of persons who do not wear their mask anymore. They don't even take any precaution because they believe that taking 2 shots of the vaccine protects them from COVID-19. Now, I want to note that the CDC continues to monitor the spread of COVID-19 and makes recommendations for wearing face masks. Not only that, that we distance ourselves. We don't move too close to people. And even going to doctors' offices, we need to be careful. Hospitals or long-term care facilities, we want to be very, very, very careful. We should maintain physical distancing and always wear our nose mask as long as we'll be meeting with people.
Thank you very much for answering that question. Now there are more myths. There are more myths. You've had it. Please, even if you have taken the COVID-19 vaccine, it doesn't stop you from putting on your mask and also taking all the precautions that are related with the pandemic. Now, this is very funny. I'm directing this to Mr. Nuate. Mr. Nuate, our viewers will also still like to see your face. Now, some have said that getting the COVID-19 vaccine gives you the COVID-19. Now, when you go to take the COVID-19 vaccine, that you, in fact, that's the myth that is going on. It's on social media that once you get there, you will be given COVID-19. So you don't need to go and take the vaccine.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting. It's one myth that when I see arguments on social media, I tend to imagine, for example, someone goes to the hospital to treat malaria, and you go to take an antidote for malaria, and you end up living with malaria. Now that myth is actually not true. It's actually not true. Now, the COVID-19 or the vaccine for COVID-19 cannot in any way or will not even give you COVID. Not at all. Rather, it is a medium for defense and not a medium for attraction. Now, the two authorized messenger RNA vaccines instruct your cells to reproduce a protein that is part of the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus, now which helps your body to recognize and fight against the virus. Now, if it comes along, now the COVID-19 vaccine does not contain the SARS-CoV-2 virus, so you cannot get COVID-19 from the vaccine. Now, the protein that helps your immune system recognize and fight against this virus does not cause infection of any sort. Rather, it guides and protects your immune and your entire body system. So it can never be contracted in the medium of protection. So that myth is actually not true. We should debunk such from our head and do well to embrace our vaccination process.
That is just the truth. The COVID-19 vaccine, please, will not give you the COVID-19 virus. Please.
Not at all.
That is a total myth. Okay, I see you have one more questions. I'm directing this to Ms. Temitope. Now, a lot of persons have said the reason why they cannot go and take the vaccine is that they've heard that the side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine is very dangerous or are dangerous. There are so many side effects that some are afraid that it could even lead to death. Please, can you help us to understand what the side effects are?
Okay. In April 2021, the CDC temporarily paused and then resumed use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I'm going to tell the full story here. The Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines can have side effects, but the vast majorities are very short-term, not serious or dangerous. The vaccine developers report that some people experience pain where they were injected, body aches, headaches, or fever, lasting for like a day or two. And these are the signs that the vaccine is working to stimulate your immune system. And we advise that if symptoms persist beyond 2 days, we should call our doctors. And also for people who have allergies, especially severe ones that require one to carry an EpiPen, we want to discuss the COVID-19 vaccine with our doctor, who can assess our risk and provide more information about it and how we can get vaccinated safely. We also want to note that a lot of persons have underlying conditions. Some persons are hypertensive, some persons are diabetic. I've seen quite a number of them at my place of work. And I realized that it's not because of the side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine itself. It's because they have underlying conditions which prone them to having those side effects. So I can clearly state that the side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine are not dangerous. It's very safe.
It's a beautiful way of explaining this. So the side effects of any of the vaccine, whether it's Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, or Moderna, or if you took the initial one, the AstraZeneca, or what they call it, does not have the side effects that could result to what people are putting on social media. Some people slump. It could be that, like our speakers mentioned, it could be that the person have underlying illness. And that's why you need to see your doctor before you go, if you have any underlying illness, before you go for any medical, for any vaccine. Check with your medical doctor so as to give you advice on what to do. Thank you very much. Now I hope our viewers are ready for the next quiz question. The question 3 of this program. I would ask Ms. Temitope to ask the question while I share the screen.
Okay.
Question 3.
If you have taken the COVID-19 vaccine, which of the following should you not do? A, put on a face mask and maintain physical distance. B, use hand sanitizers. C, no need for face mask. Once vaccinated, you are covered. D, always wash your hands and keep your environment clean.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that. So viewers and listeners, you have seen the question, fastest finger. So please go to the chat and put in your answers. Our panelists are on board to take in the person that wins. So let's continue with our myth. Now we go to yet another myth. Now this is also very funny. I don't know why I'm giving Mr. Nuate the funny question, funny myths. Now, some have said that once the COVID-19 vaccine enters your cells, that it changes your DNA.
It sounds funny, but though it's not funny because some people live by myth. That was why this program is being organized, so we could debunk such notions. I will start by first giving us a statistic. So let's start knowing if any of our members fall under these statistics and their DNA has changed. Now, globally, I think the doses given so far in the world, we have about 5.98 billion doses of vaccines given in the world. And out of this number, we have 2.51 billion persons fully vaccinated. Now, let me narrow it down to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have a total doses given of 6.19 million. And people fully vaccinated, 1.77 million. In our percentage, we have just 0.9% who are fully vaccinated. Now, among this 1.77 million, which means we are saying these same persons, their DNA must have also changed. It's interesting. Now, this myth is actually very wrong. Now, the fact is COVID-19 vaccines are designed to help your body immune system to fight against the coronavirus and not to change your DNA. Now, the messenger RNA from 2 of the first types of the COVID-19 vaccine does enter the cells, but not the nucleus of the cells where DNA resides. Now, the messenger RNA does its job to cause the cells to make protein to stimulate the immune system, and then it quickly breaks down without affecting your DNA. So your DNA is intact. If your spouse or your loved one must have been vaccinated or having this doubt that, oh, I shouldn't get vaccinated and my DNA would change, and my supposed to be husband, supposed to be wife will have a contrary view. Please, that notion is very wrong. That myth is very wrong. Please get vaccinated. Your DNA is intact. Rather, it even protects your immune system, not to fall short what you require to protect yourself against COVID-19, so you can still have your loved ones to dwell with. whenever you choose. So that myth is very wrong.
So you've had it. It's not going to change your DNA. You not become maybe. Remember the DNA is the key card, or do we say the code, the genetic code of every human. So if I take a vaccine, doesn't mean I will change from white to black. No, as you've heard from our speaker, Mr. Nuate, it does not change your DNA. Now, it's been said that the messenger RNA technology, yes, one of the major things used to do the vaccines is the mRNA, the messenger RNA. That it's a new technology, and so it's a brand new technology. That's one of the myths. That what is used to make it something that is so new, so it cannot be trusted. Mr. Mitokpe, what say you, please?
The mRNA technology has been available for over 2 decades. That's like over 20 years. So the technology used to produce the new coronavirus vaccine has been in development for a very long time. And the reason why this has been in development is for them to respond quickly to new illnesses such as this COVID-19. So we can clearly state that it's not a brand new technology. It's been there for over 20 years.
So you've had it. For those who feel that it's a new technology, that they just quickly rush the thing and then we're using it. But it is not a new technology. 20 years is not a small number of years for research. Now, we have another question, the fourth question in this quiz. Mr. Nuate, we're asking that question, and I'm going to be sharing my screen so that you'll be able to ask the question.
Okay, fastest fingers, are you ready? Now, the first 2 COVID-19 vaccines were made with.
Once you're ready for the fourth question in this webinar, question 4.
Okay, the question number 4. Oh, question number 4. Okay, all right. So the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccine.
Hello, Mr. Nwate.
I can hear you.
Think about something. Okay. Watch. Where do you want to go?
Okay, let's hold on a little. He's going to join us. The fourth question here is the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines can have side effects. The following are some of the side effects. So we'll share a screen to let us check. Sorry.
Okay, so let me just take that question while we are waiting for Mr. Christian to join us. All right, the question number 4. The Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines can have side effects. Now, the following are some of the side effects, except A, body ache and pain at the injection point. B, fever. C, headache. And D, intense bleeding and cancer. Like, your answers will be collated by the fastest finger.
Thank you, Mr. Nwate. I was yanked off by the network. Sorry, listeners and viewers. So I hope we got a question. Let me share my screen again. For those who didn't see it, this is the question. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines can have side effects. The following are some of the side effects. So we could just answer the question. Fastest finger as usual. So let's go to the next myth. We have 2 more remaining, and I'm directing this to Senuate. The COVID-19 vaccine was developed with or contains controversial substances. That is one of the myths. Some people have even said that they use fetal tissues, the tissues of dead humans. How do you answer this, Mr. Nwate?
That myth is actually not true. It's actually not true. Now, we said the vaccines actually contain tiny fragments of the disease-causing organism, or the blueprint for making the tiny fragments. Now, they also contain other ingredients to keep the vaccine safe and effective. Now, these latter ingredients are also included in most vaccines and have been in use for decades in billions of doses of vaccine. Now, the fact is, the first 2 COVID-19 vaccines to be authorized by the FDA contains the messenger RNA and others. Now, normal vaccine ingredients such as the fat, which protects the messenger RNA, we have the salt, as well as a small amount of sugar. Now, these COVID-19 vaccines were not developed using fetal tissue, not at all. And they do not contain any material such as implants, microchips, or tracking devices, which most people try to experiment. I have seen different videos, pictures, people trying to use metals to magnet their skin, with the mentality of the vaccine comes with a magnetic substance. You see, some people will tell you, put a bulb tube close to that part that you were vaccinated, and the bulb will glow. I don't know which of the experiment was that Faraday did not see to even use to produce the energy in lamps. So that myth is actually not true. It doesn't contain any controversial substance.
Thank you very much. It's raining heavily. That's why I'm losing connectivity. Thank you very much. So there is no chip in the government is not watching you or monitoring your movement, nothing. There's nothing there. The mRNA, the fats, and the salt are the things that are being used to manufacture these vaccines. Now, the last myth I'm directing into Ms. Tokpe. Now that we have a vaccine for COVID-19, we can make vaccines for the common cold, HIV, other asthma, whatever. We can cure any other disease or make vaccines for all these diseases that have been disturbing us. How true is that? Does it mean that we should be able to do that?
I want to note that making vaccines, it's not an easy thing. It's not easy. It's very tough. The thousands of viruses that can cause different diseases are very different. Some change year by year, making it difficult to develop one vaccine that works for a long period of time. For example, the virus that causes HIV can hide and make itself undetectable by the immune system, which makes creating a vaccine for it extremely difficult. We want to also look at the common cold. It can be caused by any one of different viruses available. So a vaccine for just one of them will not be very effective. So making vaccines for HIV and so many other diseases is not something easy. And looking at the way it changes year by year, it's not an easy task.
Much. Thank you very much. With that, let's ask the last question. Let's ask the last question so that our viewers could answer them. Or answer it. Sharing my screen. That's the 5th and final quiz. You could go ahead.
Okay. The first 2 COVID-19 vaccines were made with the following except A, mRNA, B, fetal tissues, C, fats, D, salts.
There you have it, fastest finger. The first to answer, remember we've had 5 quiz questions and you have the opportunity to answer those questions. Wow. It's been my pleasure to have Mr. Nuate and Ms. Temitope Teller on the call. I really appreciate the two speakers for helping us answer some of these or tackle these myths that have been disturbing a lot of us, and even is on social media space. Now you have the opportunity to ask questions. You can ask them questions and they'll be able to answer those questions. And if they can't answer the questions, we'll just get your contact and be able to reach out to you as an organization with a packaged answer. I have a hand, Samuel Corey. Please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, and I appreciate the expertise of Mr. Nuate Faith, a friend of mine, and Mrs. Teller for their explanation. And I'm sure that that actually helped to debunk a lot of the myths about this COVID-19 vaccine. I just want a little bit of explanation in this area. You know, without the vaccine, we are told to use nose mask, wash hands, and you know, observe every other the precautionary measures. Now, after taking the COVID-19, you still say I must still observe all these measures. So, of what use is the vaccine I'm taking anyway? That's one. And secondly, if I don't have the vaccine, if I've not taken the vaccine, I can be infected by the virus. Then after taking the vaccine, you still tell me I can still be infected by the virus. I mean, so what exactly am I taking the vaccine for? Yes, so any one of them can answer. Those are my concern, because it seems like taking the vaccine and not taking the vaccine are sounding just alike.
Mrs. Stockman, go ahead, please.
Okay, I hope our speakers got the question.
Yeah, I got it. In all honesty, it's you're on point for thinking that, because why should I get a vaccine if I will still get infected? If we've been listening to the news recently, we would hear about the Delta variant. This variant was not detected earlier on. The variant that was detected earlier on was a different one. Now there's this new one, which is proving more stubborn than the previous one. Just as discussed earlier, the coronavirus itself is new. It's not been in place for a very long time. Scientists are trying on a daily basis to create a lot of new technologies, medications that can be used, not even just to prevent, to treat the coronavirus itself. So I would say that if you have taken the vaccine, the reason why you should still protect yourself is to reduce the risk of getting infected. It doesn't mean that you cannot get infected. It simply means that it will reduce it by some percentage. I hope my response is clear enough.
I know Mr. Corey has gotten the answer. And apart from that, if you notice, in some countries, they are taking what we call the booster vaccine. Those who have already taken the 2 doses, AstraZeneca and others, even you see them, they go back for a 3rd one because of the new variant that is out, so as to be able to help them at least fight it. Like Ms. Temitope mentioned, we have Delta, you have a new one now, Mu. So that is why it makes it difficult. The only thing we can do, yes, we have taken the vaccine, we still need to protect ourselves so that this new variant, even if it comes, it will not be as difficult as if we have not taken it at all. Any other question before we move to the next part? Okay, Mr. Corey, your hand is still up.
Okay, yes, I appreciate the answer that I had on my first concern. The other one also is that, especially in Nigeria here, I would like to narrow down to Nigeria. I know a lot of people were said to have died in the US in their thousands, hundreds of thousands, but Nigeria has its totally different observation to that. So before now, a lot of people have died of typhoid fever. If you go to the record we have, you see that in a year, several thousands of people are dying of typhoid and cholera in Nigeria. And the Nigerian government have not done anything so much to stop those deaths, but COVID-19 with far lesser deaths, we are pumping millions and we are bringing a lot of measures to stop the spread. So I'm trying to understand if we are less concerned from saving people from dying from typhoid and cholera as a country, what's the whole emphasis about the COVID-19 when lesser people are actually dying from COVID-19 compared to cholera and typhoid? So if our interest is actually to save lives, I think we should divert more attention to where more people are dying instead of bringing all the resources and everything into COVID-19 with far number of people dying. So I don't know if there's a reason for that.
Okay, Ms. Temitope, would you want to react to that?
Okay, I've also had this concern, but I'd like to break it down. We have two types of diseases. We have the contagious one, or let me use the communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. Now, your typhoid is not a communicable disease, but your coronavirus, that's COVID-19, is a communicable disease. Now, for something that I know could easily spread because of associations of people together, I should try as much as possible to do a lot to stop the spread, which is why I think the government is trying to pay a lot of attention to it. I hope with this simple explanation, I'm able to, I don't know.
I think the concern of Mr. Corey has been taken care of. This is communicable. It's just, yes, I can see the thumbs up. Thank you, Mr. Corey. The concern is that this is spreading faster. Typhoid, malaria has been battled for many years. There are many, every time you see it changing and all that. So I think that takes care of that. Thank you very much, Ms. Temitope Tella. Thank you, Mr. Corey. If you have further questions, you could send it via the chat. Definitely we'll be able to answer those questions either during or after the section. We'll still leave the meeting room open so that questions can be treated. Do we have the quiz winners? Okay, I think we have the quiz winners. Permit me to announce the quiz winners before I take other parts. First, let me share the winners of last month's webinar. The winners, we have Bejide Modupe, we had Fehin Omi Olufisoye, Uchendu Giled, and Praise Jah Francis. These were the winners of our quiz for August 2021 HLC webinar. So who are the winners for this month's webinar? Let's see, I've been giving the winners. Okay, for the first question, we have the quiz one. We have Praise Jah Francis. Praise Jah Francis as a winner for that question. The second question, Fife Olufisoye. Third question, Lupe Bejide. And the fourth question, fair again, Olufisoye. And the last question, which is 5, Uchendu Tochukwu Giled, has won again. So we have repeated winners, 3. In fact, I think the winners we have are all, if I'm not mistaken, the same persons that won the last quiz. So we want to encourage all of us to take part in the quiz question. Then we still have some other prizes to be given. For the number of invites, the social media invite, we have the highest winner, which is Mr. Jonathan Eze. Mr. Jonathan invited about, or number of views rather, on his WhatsApp platform was 181. So Jonathan Eze is the winner of that category. The panelists, the quiz panelists, and award will reach out to all of us that have won. Thank you very much to all those who have participated and to our speakers. And then our HSE campaign for the month of September is register and get vaccinated. Register and get vaccinated. What do you need to do? First of all, you need to get to the NPHCDA website. That is HTTPS. I'm going to share my screen so that we are going to see the address. For those of us who have not been vaccinated, you can go to this address and get vaccinated. You can see it, nphcda.vaccination.gov.ng. While you get there, you can choose your desired time, morning or afternoon, and the date of you want to get vaccinated. Arrive on time, make sure you take something. It's an injection. And do not rub the point of contact or itch it. After vaccination, always remember to always use your PPE to protect yourself. Always use your nose mask. And remember, always stay safe. We'll now have the closing remarks by the President and CEO of Leadership in HLC International Forum, LiHSEIF, in the person of Mr. Kolade Olaniyi. Please, let's have your closing remarks, sir.
All right, thank you, our able COM. You've done a yeoman's job. This is very impressive. And of course, we have a crop of good team as far as LiHSEIF is concerned. And I want to thank everybody for putting this together. Most especially our guests today for sharing with us your wealth of knowledge and experience, and for adding value to this great organization of ours. In particular, Mrs. Temitope Tella, we appreciate you for the inciting information you've been able to divulge. And Mr. Nauti, we also appreciate you. It's like you went off a bit, but at least we felt your impact. So I want to appreciate Mr. Samuel Corey. In fact, I want to award him the MVP of today for at least expanding the conversation. It's actually meant to be a roundtable discussion. So it's every view is welcomed, and opinions or alternate ideas is also welcome, because we want to have a balanced, situation. So as far as Leadership in Health, Safety, Environment International Forum is concerned, we want to carry everybody along. And we do this every last Saturday of the month, and we've been very consistent. And I want to believe that for those of you that have been tagging along with us, please continue to do that. And we urge you to continue to tell friends, invite families, and make this a date with us every month. We'll continue to welcome your inputs, your ideas, your opinion, and whatever it is that will uplift this great organization and the nation at large. So I want to say thank you on behalf of the team, and we'll keep doing the best to ensure that we carry everybody along. Thank you so much for being available. I appreciate every one of us today. Happy weekend. Bye.
Thank you, our able President and CEO, Mr. Kolade Olaniyi. That was beautiful. And let me tell you something. This is actually an anniversary. This month is actually an anniversary. For those of you who have been following us, this is exactly 1 year that we've been doing this webinar. September. I hope I'm correct. I know I'm correct.
Yes, very correct.
Yeah,
Very
this is anniversary,
correct.
1 year anniversary. So
we should
let's clap for ourselves. 1 year of consistent webinar. So it's a beautiful one. And thank all of you that have been following us. For more, if you want to continue to follow us, you can, you will see the screen. I'm sharing my screen. You can see various contacts. You can contact us on the phone numbers that are listed. I will send email to support@leadership.hlc.org or collegiate@leadership.org or visit our website www.leadership.hlc.org or visit our various social media platforms. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're also on Twitter that is banned. If you have a way to visit it, you can visit it. But we're on all of these platforms that is listed there. You can visit them. Even on YouTube, we have a LiHSEIF TV on YouTube channel. On YouTube, rather, you can visit there. You can see some of these videos. You can watch some of our videos. We are still uploading them and be able to enjoy these beautiful webinars and interviews, both kids and even adults alike. So thank you very much, all of us. So we want all of us to on our videos. We are going to take a photo. Will I call it a photo shoot or photo op? Anyway, we want to explain it. So there are those who will be taking the pictures. So after the webinar, which is actually officially closed, you could just stay for chats and just discuss. So put on your videos. Put on your videos. Let's see your beautiful faces. Let's see your beautiful faces. Let's see your beautiful faces.
And handsome faces too.
Handsome, okay, handsome faces. Beautiful handsome faces. So
always put a balance.
Okay. Some men might say that their faces are beautiful. Put on your videos. Let's put on our videos. Put on your videos.
Mine is beautiful.
Okay. So thank you very much to all of us, LiHSEIF family. Thank you very much for being a part of this beautiful program. Hope to see you everybody. Next October. And I know October also will be more beautiful.
Yes, that's our independent edition.
So be there. Who knows what we'll discuss? So just keep in touch.